So here's the second question. Calculate the simple interest rate required to earn $100 in interest on an investment of $900 between the 18th of March and the 11th of May. And there's not a leap year. Says, well, it doesn't really matter because we are past February already, and only in February does the leap year make a difference. Give your answer as a percentage to 2 decimal places. 2 decimal places, we mentioned that before. The reason for 2 decimal places is simply 2 decimal places because remember we only have 5-cent pieces. Okay, so we only give it 2 decimal places. And let's just start this again. So remember the premise is which formula. And which formula is clearly indicated here. It's a simple interest rate. So according to the formula sheet, we are using the simple interest rate formula, which is I equals PRT. And we had that before. So let's go back here. I equals PRT. So let's change that color to black. And I equals PRT. Because of that magic word there, we are using I equals PRT. Now let's find our T, let's find our R, let's find our P, and in our case we even do know our interest rate. Okay, so time in our example we need to use our calculator because that's a little bit hard to do, isn't it? So there's from the 11th of March to the 11th of May. So let's use our calculator for that. So we go to menu, and on the second page in my case there's the financial. We go to calc and we go to day count. Okay, and now we type in the 18th of March in 2015 to the 11th of May in the same year, and pressing that little button will tell us that we are wrong because I haven't changed the settings where we go to financial format and then we go to the date format. We want that to be days, month and years and not the other way around. So then we set that, and let's try that again. And we obviously have done that in class, so you shouldn't have any of these problems. Now let's do that again. So that tells us that there are 54 days between those two dates. So then, no, that's not right. What do we want? We want, oops, come on, this one, and then this one. So T is 54 days. And remember that our rate, let's do that once more. Where is our rate? Oh, we don't know the rate, but the rate is a per annum rate, so per year. So we need to find out what's the fraction of a year and that we have this investment going. And because the unit there is days, and there are 365 days in a year, and this is why this little piece of information is important. If it would have been a leap year, then we would have had to put 366 there. But let's not worry about that one. So there's our time, the fraction of a year. The rate, we obviously don't know. We want to find out. The principal happens to be $900, and the interest happens to be $100. Now, that's all the information that we need. So let's work with this one now. So that's the formula based on the simple interest as it said in the question, and now we are using the second step, which is substitution. So the I goes in there, so we got $100 is the same as the P goes in there, $900, and we multiply by our rate, which we don't know, and we multiply that one by our time, which goes at the end, which is 54 days of a whole year. Now as algebra again. So remember that we can A times B times C happens to be the same as C times B times A. So we can change that any way we want. So let's just change that as I just did there, which is the same as 900 times 54 over 365 times our rate. Now you obviously could simplify this, but we'll possibly get a very, very odd number. So according to algebra, what we are going to do is we want to get these two things. We want to get these two things on the other side of our equation. So the operation that we are doing here is multiplication. So in algebra we do the opposite, which in our case is division. So we divide by 900 times 54 over 365. So which then gives us 100 divided by 900 times 54 over 365 equals our rate per annum. That goes in the calculator. There's our calculator. Go back to main. We go bring the keyboard up and use that fraction symbol there. Type 100 and divide that by 900 times, and there's another fraction. So again, 54 days is not quite a whole year. And we execute, and that's our number. Well, the question clearly said, give your answer as a percentage to 2 decimal places. So right now we've found that the right number is, 0.75102888. 0.75102888. Now we need to turn this into a percentage. Right now it's a fraction, so we multiply by 100. So we're doing the other way around, which happens to be 75%, 0.10. Remember, we wanted to have it to 2 decimal places, so 1, 2, and the 2 means that we are rounding this one up to 0 as it is. So the correct answer is 75.10%, which is a very, very big interest rate.